Here's a scenario I see all the time. Someone finds the one, the house they love, puts in an offer and loses it to another buyer. Not because their offer was lower, because the other buyer was already pre-approved and they weren't. I'm Chris Anderson, a mortgage loan officer with BOC Bank, and today I want to walk you through a pre-approval step by step. What it actually is, what you need, how long it takes, and why in a market like Waco right now, it might be the single most important thing you do before you start touring homes. First, let's clear up the biggest confusion. In the whole process, pre-qualified and pre-approved are not the same thing, even though people use them interchangeably. Pre-qualification is a quick, informal estimate. You tell the lender your income and general financial picture, and they give you a rough idea of what you might qualify for. No documents, no verification. It's a starting point, not something you can actually make an offer with. Pre-approval is the real thing. It means a lender has actually reviewed your income, assets, credit, and debt with documentation and is prepared to lend you a specific amount, subject to final underwriting and an appraisal. That's what sellers and their agents actually want to see attached to an offer. So what does it actually take to get pre-approved? Here are the core documents I ask nearly every client for. 1. Proof of income. Usually recent pay stubs, and if you're self-employed, tax returns instead. 2. W-2s or tax returns from the last 2 years so we can verify income history, not just a snapshot. 3. Bank statements, typically the last 2 months to verify your assets and down payment funds. 4. A list of your debts, though honestly we can usually pull most of this from your credit report once you authorize a credit check. 5. Identification and, if applicable, documentation for anything unique to your situation, like divorce decrees, gift letters, if part of your document payment is a gift, that kind of a thing. It sounds like a lot listed out like that, but in practice, most clients get me these in one sitting. It's rarely the burden people expect. This is one of the most common questions I get, and the honest answer is, it depends on you, not on us. Once I have your documents, I can typically turn around a pre-approval letter quickly, often within the same day. The part that takes longer is usually waiting on the client to gather everything, or a lender needing to follow up on something like a large deposit that needs explanation. Here's my honest advice. The day you're seriously thinking about buying, not the day you find a house, the day you start thinking about it, that's the day to start the pre-approval conversation. Not because it takes forever, but because it removes any time pressure. In a market where good listings can move fast, you don't want pre-approval to be the thing standing between you and writing an offer. Let's talk about why this matters so much, especially right now. In the Waco market, a meaningful share of homes are selling at or above asking price, meaning there's real competition for the good listings. When a seller gets two similar offers, and one buyer is pre-approved while the other is only pre-qualified, or worse, has nothing at all, the pre-approved offer wins almost every single time. It's not even close. Sellers and their agents see a pre-approval letter as a sign that this deal is far less likely to fall apart than, and that changes how seriously they take your offer. I've seen buyers lose houses purely on this, not because their offer was worse on paper, but because the other side could prove they were ready to close and they couldn't. Once you have that pre-approval letter, a few things to know. It's typically valid for a set window of time, commonly around 60 to 90 days, depending on the lender. Because your financial picture and credit can be re-verified before closing, during that window, there are a few things you want to avoid. Don't open new credit accounts. Don't make any large purchases on credit, and don't change jobs if you can help it. Any of those can affect the numbers we use to get you pre-approved. I always tell clients, once you're pre-approved, Keep your financial picture as boring and unchanged as possible until after closing. A quick word on Waco specifically. Median home prices have been running roughly in the $270,000 range recently, and inventory has been gradually increasing, which is giving buyers a bit of more selection than in past years. That said, well-priced homes in good areas are still moving quickly, which is exactly the environment where being pre-approved before you start touring homes makes the biggest difference. If you're thinking about buying in the next few months, don't wait until you find the house to start this process. Reach out now, send me your documents, and let's get you pre-approved and get you a pre-approval letter in hand. So when the right house comes along, you're ready to move immediately instead of scrambling. Text or call me at 806-547-3733. I'm Chris Anderson with BOC Bank, NMLS number 1201276, Equal Housing Lender. Next week, we're talking about renting versus buying and the real numbers behind that decision. I'll see you there.